Exclusive, baby! Nolan Wells' new video from Horn Island could be last image before his death. So that's where we're at with it as far as any new update as far as visualization goes, because Big Crump said something that was highly interested yesterday.
Often talk about, well, you all keep interjecting race. Well, y'all know in every situation that is a identifier when you're talking about matters. We hear black on black crime. It's inescapable, and so we want to really be able to say to this family, but to America, it was a fair investigation. Everything they did had the roles being reversed racially, where they had 3 young black men and a white man died after being on the boat. You have his cell phone. Those are the things that we're searching for. Did you search their phones? We talking about Nolan's phone. Those are the questions that transparency, the autopsy, we waiting for it. It shouldn't take that long. We want those answers. And so transparency is giving complete equity to this family. A fair and thorough, impartial investigation where we know that due process was respected every step of the way. And many have questions, and so we are trying to be respectful and collaborative as much as we can. We will hope that they will give the same to us.
Then we got an interview that popped out damn near an hour after the funeral had happened, and I'm gonna be fair, square, obvious, and honest. This one right here has a lot more questions than we get answers, because everybody wanted to know, why did y'all call off the search? Roll it.
What did the water conditions look like that night from where you were?
You talking about the day he went missing or the day we started searching?
The day you started searching.
They were pretty similar to, for most part of the day, they were pretty similar to the conditions on the 4th of July. They were fairly calm. There was strong currents, but not really big waves, not a lot of wind. It was very hot. Water temperatures were upper 70s, low 80s. Toward the late afternoon, a little front moved in from the west, and presumably it chopped up the Mississippi Sound at that point. But again, our guys aborted when they saw that weather coming. So that was probably like by 3 or 4 o'clock the afternoon of 5 July is when they had to abort that search. And then that night when I huddled with my team, that was when we made the decision that, putting out another boat on Monday, presumably with the weather clearing up, was really going to be futile, because, at this point we're getting too far away from the last time he was seen alive. So we needed to cover more ground quickly, and that's why we had to use an aircraft.
So let's understand something that makes a lot of sense. Some people ain't gonna want to hear it. Some people will accept it. If somebody is presumed dead, it makes zero. Well, we don't say presumed dead. It doesn't make sense to cause mass casualties, unfortunately, to try to save one person. There's a saying in Star Trek that Spock said, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Unfortunately, that's what it seems had happened. But we find out something massively interesting, because we didn't ask for it. He gave it.
You were involved when the body was eventually located and found. What can you tell me about the state and position that the body was in that hasn't been reported?
Yeah. So again, just to put it into perspective, it was I'm told it was about 08:45 on 6 July when a park ranger on Horn Island discovered the body, called it in to law enforcement. We had myself and the gentleman who donated his plane that day out of Gulfport. We had been flying for about 2 hours at that point. We were making a track going from Horn Island over to Ship Island down to Chandelier Island, which is south of both of those islands, about another 30 miles. So we were coming back up north towards the northwest tip of Horn Island when we noticed there were boats in the center of the island where there's a lagoon, and then we saw some boats approaching the northwest tip. And then when we got closer, we noticed there were two boats already parked in tandem on the beach. That was strange. It was a Monday morning. It was obvious they weren't fishing. So we descended and to about maybe 450 feet, 500 feet, and we could tell it was law enforcement boats, law enforcement personnel. So we descended maybe another 100 feet or so, circled around, and that's when I saw a law enforcement presence gathering on that northwest point, and then I noticed that there was what appeared to be a body right at the shoreline, laying face down on the sand.
The implication is that this body had washed up, unfortunately, on the shore.
That's what it looked like to me, yeah.
Did you see any visible injuries or anything that you can speak to at that distance?
No, from that height, right? So it's best I can do. The description matched Nolan Wells. It matched the area. It was the area where we were looking. So I had good reason to believe, even before I heard from the sheriff's office, that it was him. The swim trunks appeared to be similar color to what was reported. The one thing I'll say about the condition of the body, and again, I want to stress very, as much as I can, that I'm at 450 feet in the air. So I did not have a good ground's eye view look. But normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating and whatnot. He wasn't in the water that long. The water temperature was high. He has a low body mass index, so both of those factors together. Normally we'll look for a body to pop up on about day 4, but we knew it was possible he could pop up as soon as day 2, and this was day 2. Again, the body, I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look. Now, I could not get a good look at his face. I could not get a good look of the front side of his body, which was on the beach. I was really looking at his back of his legs, back of his arms, that kind of thing. And so that was my vantage point, and I just want to stress to everybody that that's not an ideal vantage point. It's just what I could see, and plus I'm flying at like 90 knots, so I'm going pretty fast.
And y'all knew and know the people were not gonna go for that. Matter of fact, they said all of that. Check it out. What the hell the people were writing under the comments on Instagram for TMZ? Because it got a little hot and heavy, if you will.
Based on where Nolan washed up, my assumption, again, I'm a search and rescue person. I'm not an investigator, but it seems like what happened was he was carried north, which indicates to me that he might have got caught in a rip current, and it carried him north. And then as the tide slacked and the current changed back to a southward heading, it carried him right back to the beach. The only thing that really stood out to me that I was not expecting is that he washed up very, very close to the last spot where he was seen alive.
This is nonsense. So Nolan was the only one out of all those people out there on America's 250 that got swept up by a rip current. Whatever, man. They already said his body was not waterlogged, meaning he died before going in the water. His body was not bloated. Could that be because his body was dumped there by them boys? I just wish they just come forward and share their story of what really happened to Nolan. Hope they are able to get justice for Nolan. R.I.P. young man. Why was he left there by himself? To get swept up in the current in the first place? Okay, got it. He was in the water deceased. Now let's bypass what everyone is saying that sounds the same and find out why and how he ended up there in the first place. Why, if he drowned, didn't his so-called friends call his mother to tell his mother what happened to him? Why did she have to call around looking for her son? It's unbelievable that there was no witness to a drowning accident or foul play. He entered the water by himself and got caught up in a rip current and nobody saw this. Blah, blah, blah. Justice for Nolan. The truth what will come out, and nothing will be untouched. He was a young man with so much potential. Say his name. If he was caught up in a rip current, why is everyone lawyered up? So Nolan decided to swim back after they left him. He wasn't bloated, so he couldn't have been in the water long. The boat GPS now shows times it went back and forth. Did they leave him, go back and get him, and then couldn't find him because they had his phone? Yet they say nothing to his parents? Even the simple facts make no damn sense. Let this family heal with the truth. My grandma always say, well, my grandma always used to say, what? Don't come out in the washing machines, it'll come out in the dryer. My grandma never said no shit like that, but okay. They all working together overtime to keep those accountable out of jail. May you rest peacefully, and the innocent boys who are accused stop getting harassed and threatened. They always stick together. Pay attention. And that's the thing where people kind of lose their mind, if you will, where what should make logical sense, meaning you should be able to explain this to an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. Whenever you sit with a kid, it should always be simple, all of these things, because our mind doesn't want to get too complex because we're all victims of sometimes our own theories. It just happens. You'll see something roll and you'll be like, what the hell? Where did that just come from? And now your mind go to, is it a ghost? I'm from California. Was it an earthquake? Did the wind just push it? And then you look and you see a little kid or your homeboy, homegirl, or your family member just push something to kind of distract you, throw you off a little bit. So if you can't explain it simply, it's going to be difficult to digest. Here's what we know. There was too many people to not know what the hell happened. Why the hell did he decide he wanted to turn into Aquaman all out of nowhere? Water hot as hell, all of this shit. It's possible that he said, well, I'm going to swim back to the island. All right, Michael Phelps. I want to believe certain things, but it just doesn't make any doggone sense. There's a story that came out about the Ceddy girl that, hey, he was really last seen with her.
Breaking news, y'all. This is a quick update on the Nolan Wells situation. See, they always say it's two sides to every story.
I don't know. Because the story is slowly shifting to, all right, let's take the boys' dare I say, story and fully apply it. If we fully apply the story about Katie, what are we getting here? And that's where people had to go, I don't know. So now nobody's speaking, nobody said anything. And I'm gonna be honest, had the roles been reversed, I wouldn't be saying shit either. Because when you start to explain things, the moment that you might have missed a detail, which a lot of people do, the moment that you find out a detail that you probably should have remembered, but you didn't, because you're so fixated on just the centerpiece and not the corners, the internet will not forget because they have the benefit of replay. Let's say you're walking down the street and you got a mailbox that's down the street. So you got one of those situations. And somebody asks you, yo, when you walked to the mailbox yesterday, what did you see? You might go, I seen a green car. I seen a red car. I seen my neighbor. I said, what's up to him? Got my mail and came back. Then you might tell that story differently if asked again of, what'd you do today? Well, I went to get my mail, and so I stepped outside. It was hot as hell. Man, shoot, I started seeing ants on the ground. I seen a green car, a red car. I seen my neighbor. I seen his dog. Oh, shoot. And you know what? Man, I just remember ice cream truck rolled past, and I started thinking about inflation and how much these ice creams possibly cost and how broke I am. So I'm just like, I don't even want to find out. That's just a mystery for another day. But next time, I'll probably bring some money out, see if I catch the ice cream truck, and then I went and got my mail and I went back home. You see how that happens? So once again, a lot of people are being grouped into we're fixated on one thing only. No, we're only fixated on the truth. But I ask the people all the time, if the truth came out and you didn't like the truth, could you accept it? And that's the question that I can't wrestle with, that a lot of other people will. So y'all, let me know y'all thoughts on this one. But click right here to see how ESPN, God dog, they didn't let go Cam Newton already. But the first cut that they did was the lamest one as far as how they did it. Check how they just did Ryan Clark real quick. Hit that video or click right here for the playlist to get you through your day. Y'all come on back now, you hear?